call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Tibor Benke. Mr. Pete Zahn.
Here.
Ms. Cheryl Cook.
Here.
Mr. James Newman.
Present.
Mr. Jake Nicely. Mr. John Camchin.
Here.
Mr. Kenneth Hunt.
Here.
Mr. Javier Benavente.
Here. Great. Pledge allegiance. Stand. All right. Did everyone have an opportunity to take a look at the minutes from June 4th? And if so, any questions?
Move for approval.
Second.
Oh, all right. Minutes are approved.
Who's the second?
Oh, I thought,
I second.
who?
All in favor, signify by aye.
I moved, you seconded, but I think we have to call.
Those
All right.
opposed?
All right, so, did anyone make a motion to approve the minutes? Someone make the motion?
I did.
Great. And then you second,
I
right?
second, yes.
Great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great.
Now they're approved.
All right. Police report? Staff reports. This is what we always look forward to.
Good afternoon, everyone. I do have a few things I do want to cover, and we'll start off with our beach security with First Coast Security Company. Things are going fine with them, and if you desire to have any reports, feel free to contact me, and we have reports available at this moment because we haven't met in a while. It's a very large report in order to send over. And I didn't want to task you with flipping through everything. So if you have a certain date that you want to receive any type of report, just let me know. Or if you want the big file, I have it printed in my office and I will be able to provide it to you, or I can email it over to you. Okay. All right. Other item is our outdoor seating. That was another item that went before the commission since the last time we met. Everything was approved. There were minor changes with the outdoor seating, which was making sure that we had a walkway accessible on the public right-of-way of 5 feet. This is in compliance with the ADA. And making sure if anyone who has walking challenges, who need wheelchair accessibility, they're able to go through without having to bump into chairs and tables and all of that. So that's the changes. And then also making sure that if you are in the city's property outside of the surveyed area of your property or the outside of the restaurant, then you will need to have extended insurance. So that's what a lot of the questions were coming up, and I wanted to provide additional clarity. If you are not sure, and this is for even our listening audience, if you're not sure if you need additional insurance or if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call, because I would love to make sure that you are either in compliance or you are moving forward according to the modifications that are in our land development code. What we understand, when you make changes, it will cause more cost, and we want to make sure everything is consistent on the Beach Street area and throughout our downtown or any redevelopment area that we have here in the city. So we are offering a grant, and this grant will help with the barricades. And if you look back on the commission meeting, you will see that we had pictures, and I can provide you with additional pictures. But these pictures were examples of how we want to see consistency. If you want to have a barricade or different planters to isolate your area for your outdoor seating, we will provide grant funding for that, and also we'll pay for the designs for it as well. It's case by case. You know why? Because everyone's layout is different. Some have a little bit more room and some don't. So we want to make sure we are looking case by case. And through that process, you will just come to me. I will walk through the process. I'll go out, look at the survey, look at the site plan, and move forward on how we will move forward with your design as well as grant funding. All right. Any questions before I move forward?
I just had a question, comment. I know a lot of concern with some of the restaurants is the cost of the extra insurance.
Okay.
Is there any help in that grant for that?
So it's not, and I will, before I would have the restaurant owner jump into the concerns of the cost, I would like to look and see what's documented, right? Looking at the survey or the site plan to see, do they qualify, what I'm trying to say. If the survey or the site plan shows that they are in the city's right away, then we will look into to see what that cost looks like. I did speak with several insurance companies, and they told me it would be something as a little bit of an increase by maybe $60 a year. So it's a little bit of an increase if they are, based off of what they did, they walked through the entire Beach Street area as an example, and they said, okay, it's not that much of an increase by feet, but most of the restaurants they own that portion of their outdoor seating. For the most part, there are a few that are already in the public right away, and they already have coverage. So I would love for them to come if they have additional questions so I can look at it myself, and then we can walk through that process.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other
What about
questions?
Little Italy? I mean, because obviously they can't own that whole side space.
Okay, so
I
this,
mean, just going by there's an awful lot of tables on the alleyway that's there, plus in front of theirs.
okay.
Is that, obviously their rent's going to be way more just because if they're using it, it's not their property.
So that's a special case situation. We do have several restaurants who have alleys, and that's the city's property, and they will have to come to us. We will have to do an agreement, and there's a little bit more than just them doing it on the side of that building because that's city property. So they will have to go through a little bit more intense of a process than for their outdoor seating. And we have looked into that. We've been in communication with those business owners who have the alleyway or who desire to have the alleyway as far as outdoor seating, because there is other restaurants and other businesses who are looking to do something on the side, because that's a great advantage to be on the corner where you have the front outdoor seating and then you have the side, so you can maximize as far as your clientele. But that's a different situation, and that's more of a lease with the city / insurance, and it's a little bit more weighted of a situation.
So none of this has gone into action yet?
As far as with what?
As
The
far
side?
as all of the sidewalk cafes, sidewalking.
So as far as with the outdoor seating, yes, the ordinance has been modified and is in action, yes. But according to the side, if you're referring to the side of the building, that is something that is in works. They will have each restaurant or business will have to come to the city. We will have to sit down and draft an agreement with our legal team, and we'll be able to move forward with how we will see what that contract looks like.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have a question on that point. If the ordinance is passed and it's being implemented, as it's written, are there any technical defaults immediately because of the way that the situation is today?
Technical defaults as in?
The ordinance says seating should be this way, and currently there's seating out there that's not this way.
Okay, yes, so code enforcement will come in. Right now, code enforcement will address each situation. There are some changes that people have not been in, they didn't start changing. They just started doing the same thing. The changes for the land development code goes for outdoor seating is only for restaurants. So we do have some businesses who are not restaurants who still have outdoor seating. There has been a grace period because some people just don't know. So I've been personally walking and having conversations with individuals, letting them know this is just the first phase. We're not saying we're not looking at other businesses, but we also, right now, only outdoor seating is for in restaurants or any establishment that offers food and beverages.
I guess my question is does the ordinance codify the existing conditions in front of the existing restaurants as they have their seating, or are they going to have to change the way that they're doing business, is I guess what I'm,
Okay.
is what I'm asking.
Yes, they will, if they're not going along the guidelines of the LDC. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So is code enforcement also looking at extra banners that are on the sidewalks that are blocking people walking now? Extra sandwich boards that are out there that are excusing, the right of way, making it more difficult? I mean,
Yes.
if we're gonna code enforce one, we better code enforce everything that's downtown.
Right. So that's that wasn't a part of the outdoor seating changes. Now, what you're referring to, code enforcement is aware anytime it's been brought to our attention, or if we see it. So we do have code enforcement come inform the businesses that you can't have your banners flagging in the grass area or in the undesignated areas. So we have been doing that. You can tell somebody today, and then tomorrow they put it right back. So we're doing our best to really enforce it. Another thing that we can do on the staff side is to send out a letter and making sure that they are aware that this, you cannot do, the do's and the don'ts, the things that you can do and the things that you can't do. So that is something that I've noticed, and I've gone to the business owners and let them know, and I get it. You want to promote, you want to make sure you encourage people, but there is a way that we have to make sure we stay in a line of what our land development code allows us to do. And so, yes, to answer your question, code enforcement is aware, but at the same time, I'm doing my best to make sure that the business owners understand that you have regulations for a reason, just for what you expressed.
So somebody's gonna walk the street from Orange Avenue to, say, Bay, and see all the issues, and then go in personally and talk to each of those business owners, because obviously they do not know what is the wrong, or if they're told the wrong and they do it the next day, then that's an issue. But somebody from the city then obviously needs to walk that and go into each of these businesses to tell them, because it's not stopping.
I've personally done it.
Okay.
And code enforcement has as well. We have the security officers letting us know as well of anything that they see, so they provide it in the reports. But since I've started and noticed different things such as the banners and the flags and all of that, or inappropriate signs in different places, I've gone to them and I keep telling them, hey, you have to put it here and not there. Sometimes they stop for a period of time and then they circle back around, and that's where code enforcement comes in with fines and letters and all of that. So there is a process even with code enforcement.
When was the ordinance enacted?
It was
I don't need to know the exact date. Was it mid-May?
first meeting in May.
Okay, first
Is
meeting in May. So they've had May, June, and July. There's been 3 months. Honeymoon period.
Mm-hmm.
For them to find out what the rules are, you to advise them, and them to react to it. So typically what I've seen in code enforcement actions are 3 strikes and you get a violation. What we see is somebody can fix the violation and respond. And so before it goes to code board. So what we've done at the county is would find a violation and dismiss. And then if it comes up again, it's a repeat violation, and the fine situation is completely different. It depends on if that violation has been noted 1, 2, or 3 times. It doesn't have to be a consistent thing. And so I don't know if your process acts the same way, but 3 months is long enough to figure out what the new deal is.
I can speak to that. Yes, the process for the city acts is the same way. In fact, I believe y'all had probably representing over in the county as well, and he He's the board
I mean, I'm
attorney.
on the board at the county, so that's how I know all about it.
Yeah, and he's the board attorney for the city as well. But we have that same process where typically what would happen is that they'd cite them the first time, allow it to come into compliance, and then we'd have what we call a will fine, and the subsequent violation would be as a repeat violation.
And it's not, that's not a real serious thing because it's not health and life and limb and all that, but it's a process that everybody's been discussing here. So it's an issue of keeping Beach Street looking right, and not only for the business owners, but for those of us that are walking back and forth from A to B and want a clear path. So, you shouldn't have to go that route, but I guess sometimes that's what it takes.
There any other questions or comments about this topic for the outdoor seating? All right, so moving right along. We have a business development program called the Triage Program. And since we started the Triage Program, we have about 30 applicants, and the Triage Program does exactly what it says, triage. It assesses the businesses and see what areas the businesses need help in. And after that, the next phase will start the implementation stage of helping the businesses be able to be retained here in the redevelopment areas in the city of Daytona Beach, and also be able to scale. And we always want to make sure our businesses are successful here in the city of Daytona Beach. So I wanted to encourage anyone, if you know anyone who's interested in having their businesses assessed, they can go to our city site, click on Business tab and the Business Triage link, and you'll be able to sign up there. This is a free service, and we have this going to the end of our fiscal year, which is September 30th. The next thing I want to reinforce is the See It, Click It app. So if you see anything, please, you can always contact me, but also go to the app and document it there, take a picture, write a report, and we'll be able to have it go to the designated department in a queue for them to fix it. We have new businesses coming to the area. That's something that is great. I see a lot of BTR requests, which is a good thing. I mean, people want to come to the downtown area or the Ballou area and have their business. We have upcoming programs and events. We tabled the Pitch Your Idea competition, and right now we have an open application within the next couple weeks. The actual competition will be in the spring of next year during our 2025 Accelerate Business Summit. We're taking applications. We're going to review over a lot of applications for the Pitch Your Idea. We wanted to take our time with this because we want to make sure we're providing additional resources, as well as having our judges have a lot of time to review the applications. And once we launch the actual competition at the Accelerate Business Summit in February of 2025, it will add more value to the actual summit. We'll soon be taking applications for vendors who are interested in being a vendor at the Accelerate Business Summit or sponsors. This past summit in February, we had 205 people who registered for the summit, and we had a little over 140 people who actually attended, which was great. We had 18 food vendors, and we had about 15 to 16 actual vendors pouring out resources to the attendees. So we want to make it even bigger for 2025. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. And we look forward to pouring into our community, as well as enhancing all the businesses and nonprofit organizations in the area. The next item we have is we've updated our grants since we've last met. And if you're interested in any type of grants, we have the Small Project Commercial and Business Incentive Program. We have the Commercial Property Improvement and Professional Design Assistance. We updated the Lease Subsidy Grant, as well as our Landscape Improvement Grant. You can find all of those grants on our redevelopment website, and we are taking applications now. So if you're interested, please don't hesitate to apply. The next item, do you have any questions about that before I move to the next item? You say yes? Go ahead. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, no problem. I saw your head moving. I was like, I don't want to move too fast. All right. The next
Now
item,
that you mentioned it,
sure, no problem.
numbers associated with those grants, the amounts.
The amount, so they range between 10 to 50,000. And it depends on which grant and all that. And I can discuss it with you on a one-on-one basis. Okay?
But in the minutes, I had asked for the total budget for the area for each group. Did we get that?
Say that one more time.
In the minutes on page 5 of 18, I had asked for the total budget for this area for the indoor and outdoor grants.
For the indoor and outdoor grants, yes. I believe we budgeted, it was like $150,000.
For inside and outside total.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Any other questions about our grants? Okay, so the next item we have board members reappointment. So if you received a nice manila folder in front of you, I would like you to take some time and read it and take heed to the letter. And if you're still interested in being a part of the board, follow through with what the letter is saying. And those who are interested in being a part of the board or don't want to be a part of the board anymore, just let me know. But I love to see all your wonderful faces, but I want to make sure that you all are still in compliance with being a part of the board. So if you have an envelope in front of you, please follow through with what the letter is saying. Last but not least, I want to circle around these as well. These are our pamphlets. I provided these to you a few months ago. These pamphlets here, if you want to pass these, thank you. On one side, it talks about our neighborhood services, part of our department, so anything that's dealing with housing. And the other side is talking about our redevelopment, so any type of incentives we have. In short, if people come to you as business owners and board members, they come and ask you questions about redevelopment, no need for you to try to remember everything. You already have a life and responsibilities on a daily basis. But this pamphlet will help you be able to tell about our redevelopment department in short, or if you need a stack of them, we have plenty in the redevelopment department, and you can take a stack with you and you can hand them out. We want to make sure everyone has we're saying the same thing. That's what we want, to make sure our message is the same, as well as providing information. There was a point of time where we didn't have a lot of people who knew about a CRA. What is a CRA? What is redevelopment? Why is it so special? Well, they'll be able to see it here. We are in the process of enhancing our website and enhancing videos. So we know we live in an era where people don't like to read too much. So if they click on a video, they'll be able to see, in short, highlights of every redevelopment area, highlights of different changes that we're having with our incentives, or even just updates about different statutes that are changing and what's going on the state side and on the local side. We'll be able to articulate that through our website, and you'll be able to just do a click and see how we tell our story with redevelopment and neighborhood services. And that's all that I have today. I do want to close and say congratulations, Chair, on the new birth of your grandbaby.
Oh, thank you.
And that's all that I have. Does anybody have any other questions for me?
I have one on the patrol downtown.
Okay.
I still haven't found any way to contact them if we need to. There's nothing posted on. I walked the entire block this morning from Orange to Magnolia. There's nothing posted on how to reach these people, and we haven't received anything at the museum telling us how we can contact them.
Okay.
So I would like to be able to contact them when I see something or need something from them.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
I'll send an email to everyone.
And I'll provide some feedback on that as well. I know security doesn't go back to Palmetto. Sometimes we'll have some vagrants in that area around Orange Avenue and Palmetto. And I approached them a couple times to just see if they would just move along, but there was some profanity, and I just stepped back and said, okay. So I did ask the business owner on the corner of the hot tub spot to at least put up some no trespassing signs. So they did do that, and I also put it up for my location. And from that point on, we'll see what'll happen. So we can at least call the police, but I didn't want to call the police because then you have the police there, the lights are on, and then you have patrons there for the business during those hours, and it just doesn't give it a good look. But we'll see how that progresses. And as a result of that, my ratings for the vacation rental was up to a 4.89, which was proud of.
That's awesome.
But then as a result, I got a comment, they gave me a 1 because of the area. So this is an indication of the direction that we don't want to go in, given the people who are visiting from out of town. And then that one gentleman that normally sits out there all the time, he's there after 11 o'clock, and sometimes people are leaving the lounge and they see him and a little apprehensive about going to their car. So just wanted to at least bring it up. I know the city and the grant didn't want to at least come around, and they may reconsider it next year, but I at least want to have it documented that these are occurring, so we can move forward if need be, whenever.
If I could say something too, I don't know if there's a possibility of another experiment with the security. I know like there was first with maybe individual hotspot type of things. One example would be like I don't like to focus on my business, but I'm using it as an example. I'm sure you guys know, there's a guy that like camps out.
Yes.
Like he has like a trailer, like a makeshift trailer, and then like a storm or something will take it down and he'll reconstruct it and stuff like that. And he's just gotten very comfortable down there. And, you know, I deal with it every day, so it's almost like not even on my vision, but, you know, every guest who comes in mentions it, and other people talk about their safety and different stuff like that. I haven't had any particular run-ins personally with him because I see him so frequently. It's good morning, good afternoon, good night from my perspective, you know, but other people, it's a very different situation. And it would be something maybe if we were to talk about, you know, hotspot type of things, you know, that would be a hotspot. And that's basically the same vicinity that he's referring to.
Okay.
I was going to say, I walk through this area every morning. I walk by your place, then I continue behind the Ambank and then across, and then past your place over towards the front. And along that street and in that parking lot, there's also someone who's actually storing material out of the back of a truck who goes out and they essentially harvest some of the metals in the area, and then you walk across and there's these this temporary shelter that's on the back of a bike that can be moved, and so there are some issues in there. And I was also going to say, also in the same area, the CVS is going to be a longer term issue, because I was actually reading today. I mean, New York's got a huge problem with, because they got like 60 of these, these empty things, and they have zombie leases. There's probably a 15-year lease on that that's being paid at a full rate, or maybe 8, and they have no reason to maybe move on this. And so, you know, that's going to start attracting a lot of things. I'm not sure what the city can do about that in terms of maybe talking to the property owners, because if I was a building owner, I wouldn't want to, you know, put somebody in at probably a lower rate as well. So the city's going to have that kind of challenge, maybe more so. You might already be aware of it.
7-Eleven next to you,
Right. Yeah.
same thing.
Been waiting for a for sale sign on that thing.
So yeah, I'm seeing the same type of issues, and then the fact that now we have as well, you know, a freedom of speech right for some of these is also a challenge. So how the city's going to deal with this is very interesting, but it's going to be a challenge, I guess.
Would you like to comment?
No, I don't have any comment. As you know, we're in active litigation regarding some of these issues, but the general situation is that the things we can do, we're looking at the laws, and there have been some changes in the law that may help some of these situations. So we're working on it in the legal department and with the police department to come up with some lawful solutions.
I do think the squeaky wheel gets the job done. And for all you guys, I went directly to Jakari Young and said, look, these people that were parking next to the container that's in our back parking lot and having parties and being up on the top of it. And he sent me to code enforcement. Code enforcement called me, and that vehicle is no longer there doing their wash outside. no longer there partying up on top of that container at night when Chef Papa's was coming back from doing their catering, and everybody out there in the parking lot, and the people that were on the bicycle that were feeding everybody are no longer. And it must be that they tapped that pole there by Salon 230, because we haven't been seeing those two ladies charging their phones out there on their bikes or on their little phones and their little beach chairs every morning. So the squeaky wheel, but you just got to get to the right people. I'm just warning you and telling you, maybe, because it works.
Because if we don't know, we can't help. So if you please let us know. Ms. Cook is right. If you tell us, we'll be able to move forward. If we don't know, then we can't help you. Okay.
One other question I have, does anyone have an update on Gallery Line? I know we approved a grant to getting some repairs with the elevator or something like that, and I think they're no longer there. So
the business is still there.
the business is still there?
Yeah, the business is, the owner, Wendy, she still owns the building, and she's still making, doing her renovations that she expressed that she needed done. So just the tenant that was inside is no longer there. He's actually down the street. But the owner, she still owns the building, and whatever renovations that she was supposed to do, that's in the process.
Okay.
Yep. She actually completed a lot of stuff. Yeah, she completed everything that she went before us. So anytime they come before us asking for funding, it's already completed. They just need to be reimbursed.
Got it.
But that building seems to be empty. Was there no requirement for occupancy in that?
So it just became empty. The tenants that were there, they moved out. They moved down the street, and right now we have been in discussion to see what the next steps for the owner of the building, Miss Wendy.
But they will be required to get someone into it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Just hate to see another empty building downtown.
I know, it's a beautiful
Coming
building.
along and then it steps back.
Yes.
Thank you, Phoebe.
You're welcome.
Guess we don't have any public comments then? Great. Any board comments other than what we expressed so far?
Well, I'd like to go back to the redevelopment area, the public works reports. I'm quite sure the charging stations are all in, because the one at Magnolia is. I don't know if
Yes.
they're in.
They are.
And is there any way that in the next report we get, if it's already complete or in the process, because this one seemed to be not really, because it doesn't say that those chargers have been installed since May, and I know the one at Magnolia is being used, so I just wondered if the other. The Coast Guard Auxiliary Building that is on page 11, what exactly is that? They've moved out, so the city now owns that building, and do we have any idea what is doing that in there? I mean, got an award for a project cost of $517,500, so, and it looks like it's just to exterior finishes, siding, trim, soffits, windows, doors, second floor interior finishes, and kitchenette. So do we know what that's going to be eventually?
I will find out and have that back to you by the next meeting.
Okay.
Are you aware? No. Okay.
I had a couple of comments on that report as well.
Okay.
One was the Bayou Bridge, which I assume is a part of the City Island Pavilion and Footbridge renovation. Did they take the money from Brown & Brown to expedite that process? And if not, is there a projected completion date for that?
So the projection completion date, I do not have that, but I know as far as on the funding standpoint, we did move forward with getting the funding. Yeah.
Okay, and it was my understanding some time ago that they had completed the Bookland Bridge.
Yes.
But that doesn't reflect in this report. Is that finished or is it not?
I can get the update for that. But this report is just the most recent, and I did talk to Public Works, and any additional reports that you would like, they can add it in here. They do so many projects.
Yeah.
So to compile everything in one document, it would be a pretty hefty report. But I will make note that to have them provide that update for the next meeting. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Because you thought that the Manatee Bridge, the floating docks had been,
The ones on Manatee Island, I walked down.
right.
The that's the one that goes under ISP.
Under ISP.
It does, that's
It
not.
is open, but the entrance is blocked because of the work they're doing by the library.
Okay,
So
so,
if you walk over by the children's playground back there, where the entrance is to that Brooklyn Bridge from the library, it's blocked because of the work that they're doing.
right.
The Bayou Bridge, I think,
Right.
But it's
There's
been done. It looks really nice. I'd love to be able to walk on it soon, I think.
Right.
Can we-
Yeah,
can
it's
we
not
get-
open for you to walk on it just
Yeah, not
yet.
yet,
I
but
think we
soon.
ought to give
Yeah.
Javier one of those check-in things. He's all over the,
I know.
He does a lot of walking.
I do have to admit,
He
Joe,
does a lot of
I
walking.
did have, unless,
Yeah, I am. I just wanted to question you.
just two quick questions. One is the annual budget cycle. If I vaguely remember last year, I think it was last summer, seeing the CRA budget for that. Does that, how often, what is the budget cycle?
So our budget ends in the end of September.
End of September?
Yes.
Okay, so it's coming up then?
Yes, it is.
Okay. The other one is the North Beach Street area, north of Main Street, the Bollinger area, what's going on up there, and what type of things are happening up there? I know at one point there was some excitement about maybe getting to them. Then it was maybe we need to focus on more of a commercial, commercial industrial uses. What's the plan up there now? What is the activity future? Does that look like up there?
Well, right now we're focused on the road development. We have to make sure the infrastructure is solid and available for development. So that's our main focus right now is the Blue Road and then the North Beach Street. So you've probably seen a lot of road construction, so that takes priority. We are also in communication with developers to develop that area. So it's going to take some time, but within this coming year, you'll start to see some buildings either being demoed and new construction. But as of right now, we're just in the works of talking to developers. Developers are coming and they're seeing that there is some potential. But the first question they say is, what about the roads? What about the flooding, or what about what's going on there? So on the city side, we're doing the proper mitigations to make sure that we are handling that as the best we can. We have new businesses that came in on the corner of Fairview and Ballou, right? The old BMW motorcycle. Josh Wagner, his firm is moving there. And we have some new development coming as well. Just right now, everyone is in either going through the technical review team process, which is our TRT, to say, hey, can I do this here? Or I have an idea. They're coming to us stating different ideas of what they want to do. But right now, to answer your question, the immediate priority is the road development. I would love to see in that area, and we've been in communication to have an entertainment district with a mixed use of industrial, but modifying it a little bit to make it a little bit more modern. You have a lot of the industrial area that is in there. That's the little hidden gems that are, if you walk and go around the corners and the back streets, enhancing that. But also making sure there's an entertainment district, just so you know, the Ballou CRA abuts the Holly Hill CRA. They have a redevelopment on their end, so it connects together. So making sure that we are collaborating not only with our city, but neighboring cities as well, to see how can we enhance that entire area. Downtown Daytona Beach, the downtown CRA is thriving compared to several years ago. We want to carry that all the way down to the Ballou area. So you'll start to see more development, but as things are more solid, I'll present them to you. Right now, it's just in the brainstorming phase, and I don't want to get your expectations high, and then it shifts another meeting.
We see a lot of that.
Yes.
There was at one time talk of creating a public green space there around the Root Basin. Is that still in the works or up for consideration?
That has been a conversation, but we also have to see if that is a public green space in that area, what are we doing with the surrounding areas? So we're working from the outside in, because that would be like the last thing to do, is to make that a green area. We could work inside out, but we're just having conversations with a lot of developers to see what we can do. Also deciding what we're going to do with the roads. We're still in design phases to see, should we expand the road? Should we narrow the road? Should we do this and that? It's a lot of moving parts. But as we solidify on what we are going to do, because it costs, roads are very expensive, as well as making sure that we're handling the flooding challenges. So we're just looking at the cost, and definitely a green space would be nice to have in the area.
Boost for that whole area.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments? Meeting adjourned.
All right.